Welcome back to Whiskey Wonder Woman. In today's video, we are doing a mystery box. And if you haven't noticed, I changed the wording on my mystery box. It's now called the Whiskey Wonder Woman Mystery Box. Just because I thought the top shelf and bottom shelf, I'll still use it when I'm doing my tastings. I just found that as I was doing the tastings, when I drink the whiskey, I don't really want to categorize them in top shelf and bottom shelf or like what they're already placed in. I kind of just want to place them by how good they taste and their price point. So I'm kind of changing the rules a little bit, but I'll still judge if I feel that it's good or not, really. So I am like making some changes around my channel. Also, I need to make some changes like in the environment part. I have bottles like literally everywhere at this point. I don't know if you could tell. My storage cabinet is full and you can't tell, but there's actually bottles all over the floor. So I'm trying to figure out another solution. So maybe in a few episodes there'll be a change or something. I haven't figured out what to do yet, but I literally have whiskey just like everywhere, and I'm not an alcoholic, so I have to just find a better storage situation for this because I just love doing the whiskey reviews. So let's get on with it. We have the Whiskey Wonder Woman mystery box now. I have a mystery whiskey in this box and I have a pour of it right here. And all the bottles that are going in the mystery box have been opened and like aired out a little bit, so some of the ethanol evaporates so that they're not opened just as I'm doing the mystery box. It's been sipped by someone else before I actually do the mystery box, but I don't know what's in the box. So it's still a mystery for me. But we're removing that neck pour portion just for a few videos to see if there's actually a difference for me. I already said outside of my recordings that I don't notice a difference, but for the channel, I'm going to remove the neck pour to do the mystery box for a few videos. Okay, so with that, let's start. Color alone looks like a bourbon. Its initial aroma is butterscotch, which is a really good thing. Like creamy vanilla, buttery, honestly really sweet. It is almost like a dessert. So with that, I'm not really getting oaky notes. Oh, actually, I take that back. I did get oak, but it's so sweet that it's like sweet oak. Oh, and then also to refine my tasting notes, and as I'm going through this journey, I try to go on Amazon to find like cologne notes, like men cologne notes, because I keep referring to cologne. And all I could get, well, I found one thing was woody essential oils. So this is kind of like my homework when I'm not recording. And they have a bunch of different wood scents. So this one has like leather, black spruce, bamboo, teakwood, cypress, pine, patchouli, which I definitely know is a scent in cologne. I'm actually excited that I'm gonna be defining the type of wood that I'm getting in the whiskey. Yeah, I'm gonna become like an expert. Or maybe more like a junior consultant. Okay, back to the whiskey. Still like butterscotch. It's so sweet. Yeah, it's just like toffee like. It's Really, really sweet. It reminds me of the Camp Nelson. That's the vibe that I'm getting. Okay, I'm going in for the taste. The initial first sip was delicious, but the finish mellowed out so fast. It melted so fast, and it was super light. A little bit disappointing. Okay, hold on. Let's go in again. A lot of oak. A lot of oak, a little bit of spice, maybe like clove or nutmeg or cinnamon. And I am warming up on the back end, but it doesn't taste spicy in the finish, which is, it's just like a warming effect. But it doesn't taste like the proof is high. It actually feels like it's really low. It's honestly very conflicting. It's like 50-50. It's giving high end, but in some ways it's not finishing like it's high end. But I can tell you 1000% that this is a bourbon. So with that, let's see what's in the box. Aroma was actually pretty good, like really, really good. And the taste was actually pretty good. The finish, I was not happy with. It almost feels like it's a low proof, but it could also be really, really smooth. And it didn't feel like it was too aged. I'm honestly, I don't know. I think overall it was actually a really good bourbon. I'm thinking it's a bourbon. I'm gonna say over 50 because it's actually quite delicious. And with those aroma notes, I honestly would buy that every day. So let's see what's inside. It's gonna be funny if it's like something that's like 15 bucks. Ooh, is this a Michters? What's this? Okay, it's $50 and it's a Michters small batch. And it got the 2023 most admired whiskey in the world. Wow. Wow. This is actually really good. Did everyone know this already? Because this is my first time having this bottle. This is basically my second Michters bottle ever. And I'm impressed. So distilled in small batches according to Michters blah, 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 blah. It's 83.4 proof. What is up with their low proofs? But it still tastes really good. And I think that's why the finish was like, meh. Okay. We are proud to offer you our unblended small batch American whiskey. Why are they calling it American whiskey? In the Michters tradition, hailing from one of America's first distillers, this whiskey is made from highest quality American grains and matured to the peak of perfection in bourbon-soaked white oak barrels. It is then further mellowed by our signature filtration. But why are they calling it American whiskey and not like Kentucky bourbon? Bottled by Michters Distillery, Louisville, Kentucky. Something is a red flag to me. Why is it saying that? Unblended American whiskey. Like, why is it saying American whiskey? I am going to look this up because why are they just calling it like a Kentucky small batch bourbon? Let's see. Unless you guys already know, you guys could comment and tell me. I'm gonna have to look it up. So it says distilled and bottled in Kentucky, but they're not calling it a Kentucky small batch. Unlike bourbon or rye, by definition, must be aged in new oak barrels are unblended American whiskey is aged in a way that utilizes whiskey-soaked barrels. They are not using new barrels. They are using used barrels. Are they using their own barrels again? Like, reusing their barrels? Or are they, like, whose barrels are they using? In late 2023, then master distiller Willie Pratt agreed to re-release after a 3-year absence. They should have just kept it away. Deeming it just right and best it's ever seen. I mean, it's really good. Okay. A small batch, limited qualities, state of distillation, Kentucky, bottle strength, 83.4 proof, cooperage, whiskey soaked, American white oak barrels. Tasting notes, deep butterscotch, I said that. Vanilla notes, said that. Hints of caramel, dry fruits, and ripened fruit finish. This is actually really, really, really good. I guess it's different that they're using whiskey soaked barrels. I would like to know what kind of soaked barrels they're using. Like, if they had said, oh, we're reusing like our 10-year rye soaked barrels, or I don't know, like, did they soak it? Like, what are they soaking it? Like, I need more to understand, because someone like me who doesn't understand whiskey would want to know what whiskey soaked American white oak barrels really means. Like, are they using like a old bottle, like a really good bottle, like that single barrel that I can't find, and then making bottles out of this? That would be good to know. It feels weird knowing this. It feels like a easy way to make money for Michters, honestly. Like, hey, let's use whiskey soaked barrels and make a small batch, call it American whiskey, bottle it up. And by the way, I think this is allocated in Virginia. So yeah, let's allocate this in Virginia, and yeah, makes money. Whereas I think that it should still keep like the tradition of Kentucky bourbon, how it should be. Nothing wrong that they did this and re-released it. They should have just kept it as it was, as an old time thing, and kept doing what they're doing, because they have like a lot of Michters bottles out there right now. I'm not sure people are running for this. I mean, this is allocated in Virginia, so I honestly don't know. I will say it was really good for my mystery box because I thought it was delicious. I don't know. I don't know how other bourbon people would feel knowing this. It's just almost like how they would feel about knowing like some of their Kentucky bottles are actually made by MGP. But at least we know that Michters is making their own bourbon, but it's not Kentucky, it's American. Actually, they can't call it bourbon. It's unblended American whiskey. They can't even call it bourbon, because it's already soaked and not new white oak barrels. Although this American whiskey is delicious, the process doesn't sit well with me. And you know, I'm not a whiskey expert, so they could give like 2 F's what I think. But if I'm gonna pay $50 for this bottle, I would hope that it's Kentucky bourbon. Just saying. I mean, it's still Michters, right? It's still the mash. I don't know. Maybe if they just told me what barrel they used to soak it in, like if it was like a limited edition old bottle that they used to re-soak, and then put it on the bottom and been like, hey, we reused it, and now we have this like angel shear type or devil's cut type bottle release, like the marketing. I don't know. I don't know why I'm rambling. I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. I like the American whiskey. Let's say that. And I thought it was bourbon. I thought it was bourbon because it honestly is, but by the rules of Kentucky bourbon, they cannot call it bourbon. They have to call it American whiskey because they use whiskey soaked barrels. So that is like a mind fuck. Am I allowed to curse on YouTube? I don't know. So I might take that part out. Cheers. Comment and let me know what you think of this bottle if you have it. Again, this is my second Michters bottle. And the first one was amazing. And I would love to have a single barrel one, but even though this one's really good, I'm conflicted on how I feel about it. Cheers.